Hi, I'm Holly Andrews, Integrative Nutrition Health Coach and Executive Wellness Coach. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the kitchen. If you are watching this when this video posts, the US has just finished our Thanksgiving celebration. That tends to mean a lot of family, a lot of friends, and a lot of food. So after Thanksgiving's over and after all of the leftovers have been eaten, I tend to want something that is going to help me kind of detoxify a little bit, take the kind of friendly terminology, nutrient overload kind of down a little bit, but still help support my body with really good nutrient dense foods. So today I have for you my detoxifying butternut squash soup, and it is so good. Like, I love all kinds of soups and stews this time of year, but I love butternut squash and I love it in a soup. So that is what I have for you today. And it is really going, it's got ingredients in it that are really going to help support your body, especially if you're in the US, as you process through all of the kind of overload of Thanksgiving and kind of give you a nice breather before we hit the Christmas parade of parties and foods and feasts and all of that. So I'm excited to share that with you today. So obviously in this recipe we have the butternut squash, right? Which is full of fiber, beta carotene that turns into vitamin A, and fiber is really what our body needs to detoxify, to flush out whatever we have put into our bodies. And so the butternut squash is going to give us some nice, hearty, good fiber to help with the flush of all of the overload from Thanksgiving, the good vitamin A. It's also an antioxidant powerhouse. So if you ate some inflammatory foods over the holiday, this is going to help kind of counteract some of that inflammation. We also have ginger, which is anti-inflammatory, but it's also a digestive aid. So it's going to help with digestion. It's going to help reduce bloating. And it's great for working alongside some of the other spices that we have to help kind of calm our gut, calm our system, calm that inflammation that we may have from eating the richer foods. We've also got sage in this recipe. I don't know if you've ever had butternut squash and sage before, but they are a really great combination. But that sage is, again, calming. It's going to support our liver as our liver is helping to process everything that we've put in it, helping to detoxify our bodies from, maybe some overindulgence. So that sage really helps support our liver and that detoxifying process, but at the same time, it's going to bring some really wonderful flavor to this soup. Of course, we can't do anything anti-inflammatory without some turmeric and cumin. Turmeric, of course, and cumin are both anti-inflammatory agents. Turmeric with the curcumin to help support, again, the liver detoxification and the body's detox pathways. So that is important. The cumin helps deal with bloating and prevent kind of maybe some gas. We've also got coconut milk in this recipe for some healthy fats and a little extra creaminess. Again, this coconut milk is full of medium chain triglycerides, MCTs, that aid in digestion, and it's super gentle on the body. So all of these things go into this soup to make this the perfect kind of post-Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas rush kind of moment to let our bodies kind of pause and breathe. So let me tell you how we make this soup. So to make this soup, we're going to start off with a medium-sized butternut squash. I chose to buy a whole one. If you want, you can choose to buy the pre-peeled, pre-cubed butternut squash from the grocery store, though I don't recommend it. That butternut squash has probably lost a lot of its nutrient value. So I like to start with a whole butternut squash. It's not that hard to break down. I just cut off each end to kind of maybe stabilize it, peel it, then cut it down the middle, scoop out the guts, and chop it into cubes. So not a hard process. It doesn't really take that much time. I also chopped up an onion, some garlic. I grated some of my frozen ginger, and then I got my spices together. So I chopped up some fresh sage leaves that I pulled from my garden. I did let them sit on the counter a couple of days to kind of dry out to make them easier to chop, but I did pull those out of my garden. If you don't have fresh sage, you can also use, dried ground sage. A teaspoon of turmeric, a half a teaspoon of cumin, and a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon. So I got all of that together before I started my process. Once I had everything ready, I got some olive oil into my pot, heated that up, let the onions cook down until they were translucent, then added that garlic and ginger, let them cook together. Once they were ready for a couple minutes, topped those with the spices, blended those all together, made sure that the onions and the garlic and the ginger were covered in all of the spices. Then I added in my cubed butternut squash, again stirred that around some more, and then poured my broth on top of that. Now, I am using my homemade chicken bone broth. You can grab the recipe from the link in the description below. Super easy to make, but I did make some the other day, so I had some fresh chicken bone broth to use. But you can use whatever broth that you want. If you want to keep this vegetarian vegan, you can use vegetable broth, so it doesn't have to be chicken broth. Once I got all of that mixed together, I turned the heat down to low and set a timer for 25 minutes. Once the timer went off and the butternut squash was thoroughly cooked through, I took my immersion blender to the pot and blended that all up to get as smooth a consistency as you can. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can use a regular blender. Just please be very careful if you're doing that, as the hot liquid could spill over and burn you. So don't do that. If you're going to use a regular blender, do it in really small batches so that you don't get burned. Once you have it all blended, then we're going to add in our juiced orange. While the butternut squash was cooking, I went ahead and juiced one orange. Obviously, if you don't want to juice a fresh orange, you can just use probably about half a cup of orange juice, but I prefer the freshly squeezed, freshly juiced orange. And then we're going to add in our coconut milk. And stir that all together, add some salt and pepper, and then we're going to serve it with some pumpkin seeds. All right, friends, there you have it. That is our detoxifying butternut squash soup. I am excited to eat this because this is my lunch today. But I hope that you've enjoyed this recipe. It is super simple, super yummy, and your body will absolutely thank you, especially if you are coming off of that post-Thanksgiving high. So thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Holly Andrews, and I believe that you can heal your stress from the inside out.